What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, Todd McShay dropped a mock draft. So feel free to watch along with me. And because this is going to be a live reaction. If you guys do love mock drafts, like to see my thoughts on them, which you guys will by the end of this, feel free to join the community, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Trying to get to 4K by draft day, which I think is very attainable. And you guys are helping me get there. So thank you guys because you guys are awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough. I don't usually do this at the start of videos, but I should. Is my appreciation for you guys because you guys drop these comments down in the comment section below. Some of y'all have a little bit of feistiness to you. And for the most part, that's okay because I know it's criticism. You guys have some passion. That's what makes this community wonderful. By the way, if you want to continue keeping the community good, drop your comments down below. And in the description, there's a Discord with over 120 people. Get the up to date on everything, including our fan mock that's going to be coming up. So we got some good stuff coming along because I haven't done a fan mock in a hot minute and I owe it to you guys. Let's kick into this. Let's have some fun here. All right. So start off with the number one pick. We got Evan Neal out of Alabama. I should have probably looked this over before I started this, but again, raw live reactions, always fun, right? He's my number one guy in the class. I love him to death. He's great. He right now is right above where I had Rashawn Slater and right before where I had Penei Sewell. He kind of lines in right there. I love his versatility. His ceiling is higher than Penei Sewell, in my opinion, just because, again, he's had that versatility. He's not going to look like a fish out of water like Penei did at the start of the year, but I really love Penei. I thought that he was, I think it was Orlando Pace. It was like I think it was like a more modern version of Orlando Pace. I fell in love with him. It might not have been that. Regardless, it was a Hall of Fame talent that I comp Penei to. And Evan Neal, I don't have a comp. There's nobody who's been that size, that athleticism with that technique. And he's the only tackle in this class to not actually hold. Believe it or not, you might not believe it when looking at me. I played offensive line for 7 years and defensive line. So I know exactly the right form. It's grilled into my memory. So if you guys want actual opinions on offensive linemen where I'm not going to kiss a prospect's ass and try to make up some weird terms trying to sound like I know stuff, like there's some people on Twitter who like to do that and are more recognized than channels even like mine, you're in the right place because I'm going to tell you straight up, Evan Neal is a phenomenal prospect. He has some big issues in terms of sometimes he doesn't control the player as well. His balance issues off. These are easily solvable by one, coaching, but two, experience. The guy has only played a position for 1 year max. Like he's literally played guard, right tackle, left tackle, all for a year. So the guy's phenomenal. I think that with time, he's going to prove to be even better than Rashawn Slater, who is an absolute stud. I mean, like we've been blessed. We've been blessed with some generational style talents. And we use that term pretty frequently, but these are tackles that are going to be in the top 5 conversation for many years. I talk about that as more like generational or elite talents. Next, we got Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's perfectly fine doing this, especially with all these people saying how KT doesn't have the fire, which you guys can check my mock drafts. And I'll be posting one that is what I would do mock draft because people seem to not understand that. I try to put some realism in there. But when I do what I would do mock draft, which will have, it'll be kind of crazy. You guys will hear again my thoughts on KT. Again, I went to school with KT. The guy himself is far more mature than any prospect that I've ever encountered. And he seems to just be a very smart guy, reserves his energy for the right time. The guy, yeah, he might not play 100% every rep, but when he plays 100% and when he has a reason to, which I think the NFL money and just winning will be able to do for him, which may be an argument to take someone like Aiden Hutchinson over him. I think that guy is going to be way better than what people say he is. Like his high-end reps are better than anybody's in this class. So we'll see about that. Again, I don't think that having someone go blindly in and do 100% every single rep is always the best thing for you. But again, I could be wrong. I think that a couple plays per game decide a game. And I'm going to bet on somebody like him too. Of course, I just totally messed this all up. I'm just going to take the guy who can make those type of plays over someone who's more consistent. That being said, no disrespect to Aiden Hutchinson because he's an absolute freaking monster. I would love it for the Lions there. Texans gain Kyle Hamilton. I already know Sarah's going to be coming down in the comments section. You guys owe me a sub if that's true. But she absolutely hates, and I mean hates, Kyle Hamilton. So not maybe Kyle Hamilton, the prospect, but to the Texans. I agree with her that maybe you should go after offensive line here. But personally, I say go after a unicorn prospect. Ikem is ranked as my number 3 tackle. And again, that's graded wise. He is tied to, and we know what the top 3 are: Cross, Kwanu, and Neal. But at the same time, Ikem has had some very, very, very bad pass reps and very bad run reps. I actually think that he's worse in the run game than he is in the pass. And that's a very controversial take, but I'm willing to stand my ground on that. Ikem, he offers a very high ceiling. There's not many who have the upper and lower body strength that he does. But Kyle Hamilton is somebody who I've never really seen somebody with that football IQ at that position. Just the guy has, I mean, his measurables are incredible. Obviously 6'4", rangy as hell, can literally run across the field like he did against Florida State at the start of this year and just break up a pass. Like he could probably run 53 yards and just swat it from one sideline to the other while the ball's in the air. Guy's incredible. I would be perfectly fine if this happened. That being said, I do think I personally am biased towards this. Building on the offensive or defensive lines is what's going to make the difference in the long run. That being said, again, Kyle Hamilton, not too shabby. Jets, if this kind of fell this way, I don't know if I would go Ikem. That being said, I've said that quite a bit this episode, huh? Him next to Mekhi Becton would be phenomenal. And Morgan Moses had a bit of a career resurgence. He was pretty subpar, like 60s PFF wise, and then he boosted to a 70 plus this year. Ikem could definitely benefit off of Mekhi Becton being basically his ceiling. So if Ikem can be that, I'd be perfectly fine with it, but I'd be taking KT here. I would, but that's really up in the air. That is, because also you don't want Ikem to go to the Giants and then be a baller, and then you're stuck with KT when you could have gotten somebody probably just like probably marginally worse than KT later on versus a much worse tackle. We'll talk about that when we do more stuff. Giants getting KT. Again, I really like it. We got a video talking about KT responding to criticism. It's ridiculous talking about how he doesn't have fire. The guy just has selective energy. And if that's the case, okay. Again, if you go to a place where he actually believes in the culture, he's going to play every snap. If you're a shitty organization, which maybe that is a good argument to not go to the Texans, then yeah, you kind of did that to yourself. He's somebody who's very smart and wants the best for himself. And then he'll also put his team in there. But when you have a shitty organization, to be honest, it doesn't matter what player they are. Most players won't be having that juice for their organization if they don't believe in it. That's just what happens because you're putting your body and your whole life on the line when you're playing every snap. Panthers getting Sauce Gardner. Again, it's hard to believe. Yeah, Stephon Gilmore, Dante Jackson are up for free agency, and they both didn't sign. It is very possible that you could go corner here. I don't know if I'd go Sauce because, again, I have Sauce as my corner 1. That being said, I don't think he has the ceiling that Derek Stingley does. And at number 6, I'd be taking someone who has a ceiling over someone who has a floor because I know JC Horn's going to be able to secure that corner 1 position. Also, you have a very nice tackle in Charles Cross there. And Panthers fans, by the way, I have a mock out for you guys and an off-season video. If I haven't had it out, it's going to be coming out today or tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Where I do 2 mock drafts. I'm absolutely insane. But one of them is we'll go offensive tackle to start out. The other one is we'll go quarterback because you guys will see why. But yeah, Sauce Gardner here. I think that I tried to go corner for them one time with Derek Stingley. I just didn't feel like it was right. When you have that type of pick, you need to make an impact. And one corner, I don't think makes the same impact as a true left tackle. Or you can even go Tyler Linderbaum if you really believe in Brady Christensen, or even Malik Willis if you just want to think that, obviously we all know Matt Rule's up for the hot seat. If you want to think that he'll probably try to buy some time, a quarterback is the perfect way to do that. 7 with the New York Giants, you got Charles Cross. That'd be a dream scenario. Obviously, this is exactly what happened in my offseason for him. So spoiler alert, but Giants fans, NFC East fans, it's already up for you guys. And same thing with the Falcons. I just uploaded it today. So probably yesterday for you guys. Drake London to the Falcons is really high. I love Drake London with a passion, right? But I don't think that his ceiling is enough to be taken in the top 10. But two, I don't think that when there's all these other prospects on the board, you take somebody who, one, had a season-ending injury, but two, just doesn't have the juice needed to impact the franchise the way that Derek Stingley could with AJ Terrell. You can even talk about Karlaftis here, Jermaine Johnson. I mean, hell, there, you could talk about Nakobe Dean here. Foyesade Aluakon is up for a contract. I think that he'll go elsewhere just because he probably wants to win. He's a freaking baller. I love him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is the right route to go. That being said, oh, I said it again, man. I'm going off today. You know that one phrase you keep repeating? I think that going wide receiver is a good enough route if you trade back. If you get the right requisite picks, you could trade back because the wide receiver class is not as good as some people say. It got better once we started seeing some more of the talent in the Senior Bowl, but just watch out. Denver Broncos going Devin Lloyd. I've been going to Kobe Dean here. Again, 3 linebackers up for a contract. That's not good. And honestly, they didn't perform well anyways. In terms of like Kenny Young didn't perform well. Josie Jewell's been consistent, and Alexander Johnson, I really like him. So I'm biting my words right there. I was thinking about the Rams linebackers because Kenny Young, obviously from the Rams, but Nakobe Dean. So some teams apparently like Devin Lloyd more than Nakobe Dean. They haven't had enough time to really evaluate these guys. So I don't think that what we hear is going to be real. Again, I don't believe it. Jets going Derek Stingley Jr. here. I think that'd be phenomenal value. I would go Tyler Linderbaum, but again, I totally understand why you would go after Derek Stingley Jr. in this case. Again, going Derek Stingley and Ikem Ekwonu, not too shabby. Washington Commanders going Kenny Pickett. I think that is probably the best route, but I would go Malik Willis. And I am shocked to see that Todd McShay has Malik Willis above Kenny Pickett. Because Malik Willis right now, he resurged back to my QB1 because I started factoring in scheme into my analysis, and I realized that Malik Willis is honestly a little bit more mentally pro ready than Sam Howell, who's been in a one read system his entire career. But I'm very shocked to see that Malik Willis is ahead of Pickett. But still, I love Malik Willis. I think Kenny Pickett's a higher floor player coming in. But again, Malik Willis, you can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion. And of course, we got Trent McDuffie. I got to redo my analysis on this guy because I have it up on my website, link in the description. My only article I have up there because I need to work it out with the other sites I write for about who I can put up on the site. But Trent McDuffie is somebody who I'm not that high on unless he's in the right scheme. Minnesota is not one that I would think he'd fit compared to other ones. I think that you'd rather go after somebody like Andrew Booth or, I mean, even honestly, that's probably the guy who I'd target right here, Kyer Elam as well. So I don't really think Trent is the right guy, and nor do I think Trent has the abilities that these other guys do physically. So that's where I'm at. I don't really think that Trent McDuffie's worth it, but again, I know so many people think that he is. Cleveland Browns going Garrett Wilson here at Ohio State. I love it. I feel like I was one of the first, if not the first, to put it there. I thought that it was like just a perfect fit, the perfect guy to fit with the Browns offense, and he kind of completes what they're looking for. Somebody who's really good at separating, good with the ball in his hands. Obviously not an elite route runner, but somebody who's good at the catch point as well. Just somebody who you can have in all facets of the game. We see guys like Cooper Kupp right now who are just elite separators, and they're doing a very good job making the most out of what they can, rather than, you see people like Antonio Brown. Obviously, that's going to be more of a route running separator. I think Garrett Wilson's a little bit different than that, but he's exactly what you look for with the Browns. I think his ceiling is kind of more that OBJ, that prime OBJ, versus his like floor is a much worse version of Keenan Allen. That's my hot take. Baltimore Ravens going Tyler Linderbaum. Again, I would absolutely love it. I have Tyler Linderbaum as my number 3 graded player in the class. He might be number 2, but guy's a baller. I love him. And the Ravens could definitely do that. Bradley Bozeman is up for a contract, but I do think they kind of bring him back. Regardless, I think Tyler Linderbaum would be able to support as a guard or a center. The guy's amazing. I love him to death. I would just say bringing in the Ravens DC not the Ravens DC, that'd be funny. But bringing in the Michigan defensive coordinator, having the connection of Odafe Owe to, oh wow, I just bugged out. Oof. David Ojabo in high school. It just seems like the stars are aligning. But Tyler Linderbaum, I would love it even way, way more. Eagles going to Kobe Dean. I'd be so happy if they finally drafted a linebacker for the first time since 1985 in the first round. I just don't think they do. It's Howie drafting, right? Like Howie's going to Howie. But I would absolutely love it. That being said, wow, I did it again. I don't think that Nakobe Dean is going to offer as much as someone like Brian Asamoah. That's a hot take. I have Nakobe Dean ranked above Brian Asamoah, but I think that Brian Asamoah, if you trade back later in the first or else have him in the early second, is going to be a better option because he's going to be a little bit larger. I feel like Nakobe Dean is going to compete with Davion Taylor, who hasn't even had a full shot to really develop. That being said, I love Nakobe Dean. I love him to death. If they take him, 100% happy. I'm just trying to do like a little bit of micro analysis here. Travon Walker to the Eagles as well. I just think that Jermaine Johnson is so freaking amazing that he's better than Travon. And I love Travon. And he's also, I feel like Travon is less of an Eagle than Jermaine Johnson is. And I don't know why. There's just some intangibilities that make me feel like players are Eagles. My best buddy is, so shout out to Keon, he'll probably be in the comment section, is an Eagles fan. So I hear about you guys all the damn time. Just Travon Walker doesn't feel like an Eagle compared to Jermaine Johnson. But the Steelers move up from Malik Willis. I would be so happy about that if they only moved up that amount. So I'd be very happy to see it. New Orleans Saints, Matt Corral. I think Jameis Winston's not going to be able to resign. I have no, like, they're so under the cap. I made the Saints video and like I made the Saints mock draft, but I also did your guys, like everything's already ready for the Saints. But when I did the offseason departures, I couldn't re-sign anybody because you're not going to restructure Michael Thomas. You have 70 million cap to get back to zero. I don't know how you can do it. I don't. And I tried to re-sign Teron Armstead, which is obviously a little bit insane. But you can't re-sign Jameis. You can't re-sign Armstead. I mean, again, the cap doesn't exist. But there is legitimate reason to believe that there's going to be no quarterbacks here. And getting someone like Matt Corral is phenomenal. I think that'd be an excellent choice for this team. He's a really, really good competitor. Again, Oaks Christian alum. And he's somebody who will work his ass off, has a strong enough arm, really good mobility. Injuries are a concern, as well as sometimes his reads are off. But again, there's not many quarterbacks in this class that have much more to offer. Then the Eagles getting Treylon Burks. Let's keep the Treylon Burks train to the Eagles. I've been doing that for a hot minute. I think Howie, especially if he runs a 4.38, is going to be very, very intrigued. Chargers going Jordan Davis. I can see it happening. I just hope to God it doesn't. You know, he's a 2-down type of defensive tackle and just cannot play every single down. He just doesn't have that juice in him. If you want to talk about someone who doesn't have the fire to play football, talk about Jordan Davis, not Kayvon Thibodeau. Again, no disrespect to Jordan Davis, because I think honestly it's more of an athleticism issue. He's so big that I'm sure it's a pain in the ass to go 100% every play. And the problem is he goes 0% some plays. I don't like players who take plays off. So that just might be me going against him, but I don't think it'd be crazy to see him fall out the first. Kyler Gordon going to the Patriots, I think that is perfectly reasonable. I like him. That being, on the other hand, we're going to try not to say it. On the other hand, I think that when you go a different position, because I don't think Bill Belichick's a first-round corner guy, it would be just a little bit more better for the franchise. And again, you do have some very good wide receivers on the board. So maybe getting Chris Olave to get your Devontae Smith for Mac Jones might be a good selection. But going Chris Olave for the Raiders, I would love it. You know, I would really love it. Just definitely getting a good separator. You know, you don't have that deep threat anymore, and Chris Olave could be that. Obviously, that famous Justin Fields throw in the championship. I mean, you guys remember that. Not in the championship, but was it in the Sugar Bowl? Probably in the Sugar Bowl. Just phenomenal throw to Chris Olave deep. He has that juice in him. Jermaine Johnson to the Cardinals. I would love it. Absolutely freaking love it. David Ojabo to the Cowboys. I wouldn't really like that much. It just depends on Randy Gregory and D-Law for this team. You know, I heard that Randy Gregory was re-signed, so that's good. But your guys are going to be having to deal with restructuring a lot of people. And I think Micah should be taking more of a full-time edge position. I do like Brian Asamoah as a sneaky first-round option. And people are going to be like, Alex, why do you talk about Brian Asamoah so much? I have him graded out as my number 2 linebacker. I absolutely love him. You guys need to watch him. This guy is really good. And he has his flaws, but so does every player in this class. I'm a just huge fan of him. Buffalo Bills, Andrew Booth Jr., that'd be a steal. I would love it. That's probably my dream fit for them in the first. Titans getting George Karlaftis. Can you imagine? I love George Karlaftis so much. He's actually graded out as my edge 3. Just the guy's an absolute beast. The problem is he is more of an interior defensive lineman. So it's tough to say that he has that value. And we're in such a good edge class that, if Jermaine Johnson and Ojabo go above him for schematic reasons or hype reasons, it's not that George Karlaftis got worse and he fell. It's just that some teams had better fits and more hype and other guys jumped him. And again, it has nothing to do with talent per se. Just the guy's absolutely good. Absolutely amazing. I'm happy to see Trevor Penning falling though. And Bernard Ryman deserves to get a little bit more hate. I mean, again, like, I'm not going to be one who's going to be the bearer of like hatred, but I think that he's gotten so overhyped. It's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. I was like, oh, you know what? Like, he's a 2nd round pick. He's good. People are saying he's like a top 20 pick, and it's ridiculous. Buccaneers going Jameson Williams. If he's on the board, 100% take him. You need to get help everywhere. It's real. I haven't even made the video yet, but I made the graphics. You need help. Packers going Devontae Wyatt. I can see it happening, and the guy's an absolute stud. I do love Devontae Wyatt. Dolphins going Trevor Penning. At this point, you might as well try. I hope to God Mike Gesicki could be re-signed. It might be a heavy price tag, but the guy's been the only thing really producing in this offense. So I really want him to come back. Trevor Penning is like, I think that free agency is going to be your best route. Like maybe getting Terrence. Oh my God. I totally bought Terrence Armstead from the Saints. If you can do that, you can muster the cash to do that. That'd be phenomenal. I think that's your much better option than Trevor Penning. That being said, I think that getting Trevor Penning and him would be a good option. So again, you can never go wrong with offensive line. And he does offer a shit ton of power. Teams are going to like that, especially in a weak tackle class. Kansas City Chiefs going Jahan Dotson. Don't think he offers anything. I think that edge rusher is exponentially better right there. Bernard Ryman to the Bengals. I could see it. But I really think that Zion Johnson's won the hearts of everybody. And he's one hell of a competitor. He's a lot better than Bernard Ryman. And then Sam Howell here going to the Detroit Lions. I love that fit with a passion. So pretty sure this was a Todd McShay mock draft. I got to triple check here because obviously I don't want to say anything too wrong. Yeah, Todd McShay, he always comes out with some unique takes and stuff. But hey, he honestly didn't do that bad of a job. I've seen some really bad mock drafts. I thought, I started seeing Wan'Dale Robinson pop up on my screen. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. But that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out all the team off seasons that are coming out because I put a lot of time into those, and I know they're not going to be as big of a hit videos. So unlike some YouTubers who decide to like make people pay to see those stuff, I want you guys to see it. I don't care if I take a cap hit on the amount of money I make on this because I want to deliver good content to you guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.